In the vast expanse of the open ocean, a massive tanker sails silently toward a secret destination. This ship carries a controversial cargo that will spark a fierce diplomatic firestorm between global superpowers. We are tracking the Suez Rajan, a vessel loaded with 1.8 million barrels of oil. This black gold was allegedly smuggled from Iran, destined to fuel the industrial engines of communist China. But the United States Department of Justice decided to intervene, seizing the ship and its valuable contents.
Before we analyze this geopolitical theft, click subscribe to stay updated on the wars for global resources. The saga began when the U.S. diverted the tanker to the coast of Texas for immediate offloading.
Iran relies heavily on these secret exports to survive the crippling economic sanctions imposed by the West. They utilize a ghost fleet of aging tankers that turn off their transponders to avoid satellite detection. Satellite imagery captured the illicit ship-to-ship transfer, providing the legal justification for the American seizure operation.
U.S. authorities moved quickly, commandeering the vessel and ordering the captain to sail directly toward American waters. China reacted with fury, accusing the United States of piracy and violating the laws of international trade.
The cargo was valued at over $100 million, a massive financial blow to the Iranian regime.
For months, the ship sat idle off Houston, as companies feared Iranian retaliation if they touched it.
The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps threatened to hold any company responsible for offloading the stolen crude oil.
Finally, a brave company stepped forward, using the tanker MR Euphrates to begin the dangerous transfer process. Pumps roared to life, moving the sanctioned Iranian oil into American custody for eventual sale at auction. Tehran viewed this as an act of war, promising swift and severe consequences for the United States. In retaliation, Iran seized the Advantage Suite, a tanker carrying oil for American energy giant Chevron. The Strait of Hormuz instantly became a flashpoint, threatening the global supply of energy and oil prices.
Political pressure mounted in Washington as senators demanded the Biden administration expedite the offloading of the cargo. And
proceeds from the sale were designated for the U.S. Victims of State-Sponsored Terrorism Fund, angering Tehran. Beijing imports millions of barrels of cheap Iranian oil daily, bypassing the U.S. dollar and sanctions. This shadow trade undermines American financial hegemony and strengthens the alliance between Washington's two biggest rivals.
The Pentagon responded by increasing its naval presence, deploying more destroyers to the volatile Persian Gulf region. Advanced F-35 fighter jets were sent to the region to provide air cover for commercial shipping vessels.
Reports even surfaced that U.S. Marines might be placed on commercial tankers to deter Iranian seizure attempts. This escalation marks the most significant naval tension between the two nations in recent history. Despite sanctions, Iranian oil exports have hit a 5-year high, largely driven by Chinese demand. The captain of the Suez Rajan faced a nightmare scenario, caught between American law and Iranian threats. The shipping company Empire Navigation pleaded guilty to smuggling and agreed to pay a massive fine.
The successful offloading in Houston sent a clear message that the U.S. will enforce its sanctions globally.
But Beijing warned that such actions disrupt energy security and will lead to inevitable consequences for stability. China's independent refineries, known as teapots, are the primary consumers of this illicit, discounted Iranian crude. They buy this oil at a steep discount, giving Chinese manufacturing a significant competitive advantage over others. The U.S. Treasury continues to blacklist ships and companies involved in this clandestine trade network.
Smugglers use flag-hopping tactics, constantly changing the ship's registration to stay one step ahead of authorities.
The Suez Rajan is now a marked vessel, likely unable to ever sail through the Persian Gulf again.
Iran has fortified its coastline with anti-ship missiles, turning the narrow strait into a potential kill zone.
A single miscalculation or missile strike in this channel could block 20% of the world's oil. Such an event would cause gas prices to skyrocket instantly, triggering a global economic recession.
China is also expanding its naval footprint, ostensibly to protect its vital trade routes and energy imports.
The seizure of the Suez Rajan is just one move in a larger chess game for dominance.
Shortly after the U.S. action, Iran seized the tanker Niobe, further escalating the tit-for-tat maritime war. Insurance premiums for ships entering the Gulf have soared, adding millions to the cost of shipping.
Surveillance drones now constantly monitor the waters, watching for any sign of aggression or illegal activity.
Oil remains the lifeblood of modern civilization, and nations are willing to risk war to secure it.
U.S. Special Forces train relentlessly for these boarding operations, preparing for the next inevitable high seas seizure.
This incident pushed Iran closer to the BRICS alliance, solidifying an anti-Western bloc of nations.
The 1.8 million barrels now sit in American storage, a physical trophy of a geopolitical victory.
Traders on Wall Street watch every development, knowing that one spark could ignite the entire market.
The Shadow Fleet adapts, using new tactics and routes to evade the tightening net of sanctions. They use GPS spoofing to manipulate their location data, making ships appear miles away from reality.
U.S. Cyber Command works to pierce this digital veil, identifying the true locations of the smugglers. This is just the latest chapter in the long history of the tanker wars between enemies. Environmentalists worry that these unregulated, aging shadow ships pose a massive risk for a catastrophic spill. Behind closed doors, diplomatic cables fly back and forth, trying to prevent this from spiraling out.
The U.S. Navy asserts that freedom of navigation is non-negotiable, regardless of Chinese or Iranian threats.
China continues to pay for Iranian oil in yuan, further attempting to de-dollarize the global economy. Control over these energy routes gives the United States leverage over China's economy in a conflict.
Strategists fear that a total blockade of Iranian oil could push China to take military action.
For the victims of terrorism, the seizure represents justice and a small measure of financial compensation.
The sale of the illicit cargo will generate millions, turning a tool of terror into restitution.
Iran's oil minister remains defiant, claiming they will find new ways to bypass the American blockade.
The black market for oil is vast, run by a network of shady brokers and fixers. Waters near Malaysia and Singapore have become hotspots for these illegal ship-to-ship oil transfers.
U.S. surveillance assets are stretching their reach to these distant choke points to enforce the sanctions.
The legal precedent set by this case emboldens the U.S. to seize more ships in the future.
It creates a legal framework that treats sanction evasion as a crime punishable by asset forfeiture.
China's hunger for energy is insatiable, and they will continue to seek out every available source.
While investing in green energy, China still relies on fossil fuels to power its massive economy.
A storm is brewing over the world's oceans, with the Suez region serving as the lightning rod.
Sailors on both sides stand ready, knowing that a single mistake could lead to open conflict.
The sun sets on the Persian Gulf, but the shadow war continues in the darkness of night.
Piracy and state-sponsored seizures have blurred the lines between law enforcement and acts of war.
Analysts predict that resource wars will define the 21st century as superpowers clash over supply chains.
The empty hull of the Suez Rajan stands as a testament to the reach of American power. Yet, for every ship seized, another is built or rebranded to take its place in the fleet.
It is a perpetual game of cat and mouse, played out on the high seas of the world.
The focus is shifting to the Pacific, but the Middle East remains a critical choke point. Turning off the tap of Iranian oil is a strategic goal that Washington will not abandon easily.
The alliance between Beijing and Tehran strengthens with every sanction imposed by the Western powers.
This seizure serves as a warning buoy to any nation attempting to bypass the American blockade.
The long arm of American law reaches across oceans, enforcing policy through seizure and forfeiture.
From space, satellites watch every move, ensuring that no dark ship can stay hidden forever.
The human cost involves the crews caught in the middle, pawns in a massive geopolitical game.
As the oil enters the U.S. supply chain, the diplomatic fallout continues to ripple across the globe.
Will this bold move deter future smuggling, or will it only drive the shadow fleet deeper underground?
The Suez Rajan incident will be remembered as a turning point in the US-China energy war.
The United States has drawn a line in the water, daring its rivals to cross it.
This concludes our deep dive into the seizure of the Suez Rajan and its global impact. If you found this analysis insightful, check out our other videos on global maritime conflicts.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed on world events.
Stay informed, stay vigilant, and thank you for watching our report on this critical issue.
We will see you in the next briefing with more updates from the front lines of geopolitics.